We're rolling.
Welcome back, everyone.
What's up?
Episode 108 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast.
Wow.
We're brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website. It's bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free review right there on the homepage. Get a review of your entire online presence today. Okay? My name is Milton Campus. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. We got Bo behind the camera.
Hola.
And my trusty sidekick.
What's up, man? Sidekick.
Miguel.
Ready?
The shotgun today.
Pow, 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 pow.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, click the subscribe button, do it all. We'd really appreciate the support.
Ding bells.
Joining us today is third degree black belt Kenny Kim. I think everybody probably going to know him from Mat Made. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. A few quick shout outs.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Visit them on Instagram at flow_n_roll and check out all of the custom designs they've created for academies across the country. You can find our podcast tee. Oh, yeah, you can find our podcast tee on the site.
Yep.
You definitely do that.
Are you questioning that?
Yeah.
Were you like, you can find our
Remember,
podcast
I messed up last time, remember, because I was like, can't you get the mug there? He's like, no, the mug is on the...
Just the T.
Bam. You know what I'm saying? You could also...
Just the T.
Just the T.
Just the T.
And you can also check them out, on Instagram at Flow and Roll. Well, there's underscores there too, huh?
Yeah, you did that twice. So,
I did that twice.
So you're just saying the Instagram again. Go check them out.
Oh, yeah.
Again at Flow and Roll, Flow_and_Flow.
See, it's difficult.
That's so easy, right?
Yeah. And
this is me passing it off to you to okay, give you a shot, right?
Or check out their website.
No rehearsals.
flowandroll.com and get 20% off with code JJD.
So just to be clear, Instagram is on the screen.
Yeah.
It's in the description. And it's at flow_and_roll.
I've also typoed Flow and Roll in my browser. It still comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a good job.
Well, in your browser, I mean, that's the .com, so it's going to come up. But
Yeah.
you can also, I think, I think it says like Flow and Roll without the underscores
Yeah.
in your name, like where you would put your name of the title,
Yeah.
the company. All right, so thank you to the BJJ box as well for all of their support. I spoke to Tony the other day. We've got another box on the way. They are Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box. It's delivered to your door filled with premium Jiu-Jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. They find the best products in the world of Jiu-Jitsu and guarantee that every box is going to be worth more than the actual cost, okay? Each box includes 4 to 7 items that you're going to love. Use coupon code JJD10 for $10 off your first order. And again, we've got a new box on the way, so we'll probably do an unboxing on the next episode.
I'm excited about that. Also want to say, what's up? I'm rocking it today.
Neutral
Zone Clean. I love the product, man. I really do. You can check them out at neutralzoneclean.com, and you can find them on Instagram at neutralzoneclean. You could same thing for Facebook. Just look up Neutral Zone Clean, pops up. It's a really cool site. So Neutral Zone Clean is all about clean on the mats. It's a hygiene product. It's a really good hygiene product. I think it smells nice too. Just say that.
I get a lot of compliments on it now because I spray. I really do spray. Look, I mean, that's me filling up. This was up here, right?
Mine lives in the gym.
I use it all the time.
Mine lives in the gym, and everybody in my class. I have the jug.
Okay.
So in our gym, the locker room is all cubbies, like IKEA cubbies.
I've seen the pictures.
And so I just keep the bottle and the spray there, and I tell the guys, I was like, yo, just use it. It's for the ride home, so you're clean, And then
I spray it myself,
noticed?
and I sprayed on a towel. And
one time I was rolling with my boy Alex, and I smelled it, and I was like, you smell like Neutral Zone. He's like, yeah, I spray my gi before I get on the mats.
Okay. And
I was like, oh, I guess that works too,
No, it's a great product. We both said we both carry a canister in our car.
Yep. Used it the other day.
Shake somebody's hand. Sometimes I just use it to wipe down the steering wheel. Like I've been in a lot of places and I haven't used it in a while. I use it to wipe down the steering wheel.
I had cow poop.
What were you going to say?
You still running the bucket deal?
No, they said they were going to run it through. The coupon code is probably good, but we said we were going to stop talking about it.
Gotcha.
But you can use coupon code JJD and get 15% off. You've got wipes.
Yep. Is the soap out yet?
The bucket. You've got the refill. You've got the spray.
Yep.
They've got, I believe now, 2 soaps.
Yep.
2 bar soaps and 2 different shower gels.
Yep.
So we're actually, my daughter who works for my marketing company is actually working with the designers on some of the product thumbnails right now. They should be done in the morning. So they've got by the time this airs, they'll be on the website.
Nice.
He had some really. If you go to the Instagram, you can kind of see how some of the stuff is made. He has a bunch of pictures, like the soap has to dry out, and it was like on these shelves. Like, it's really cool. So love working with Mike and Candy. They're super awesome. I
didn't know
believe that we have some stuff coming out our way. I know. I mentioned, I'm out of wipes. Oh, I think I'm down to like the last few.
Yeah.
The
juicy
ones? I mean, I do use them all the time, and going back to the gym, I spray after every training session. I spray. And then I actually have a towel that came in the BJJ box, and I always wipe myself down, and then I throw that in with my gi.
I'm curious about those soaps.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. We'll have some.
I'm looking to sort of dechemicalize my life.
Yeah,
and get rid of like these major brand soaps, which are full of shit.
Yeah.
All kinds of crap in them, and the shampoos, all that.
I'll make sure that we get some stuff again. If you go to
Au Natural.
The website is neutralzoneclean.com, and again, you get 15% off with code JJD.
Yep. He posts. You could just go on the website. He posts his ingredient labels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't had
check her out.
All right, let's do this. Let's get Professor Kim.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's get him in here. Hey, welcome, Kenny. How you doing?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you doing this. Love your stuff. We're gonna dive right in, and let's talk a little bit about MatMade. I mean, that's the thing that put you on my radar. A small radar, I'm a little guy. So, but I started seeing the MatMade stuff and these interviews coming up where people doing like kind of like these testimonials or like talking about their background. Then I started following your stuff, and let's talk about MatMade first. How did that get started?
Man, MatMade is been in the works for 40-something years because I'm MatMade. I am MatMade. So it basically derived from me. I come from an immigrant family where when I was young, I didn't have anything growing up. I actually have a book that's called MatMade. That's how it all started. I actually wrote a book talking about my experiences as growing up here in the southern part of Georgia. It was very rural at the time. It's Atlanta's obviously big right now, but anyways, I talk about that, my upbringing and who I was and where I was. Barely, a high school graduate, and the only thing that kept me, in line and successful was the mats. So it kind of just was following the path of that. And I figured, hey, if it can empower me, I can empower somebody else. If I can empower one other person, one other child, or somebody else that's watching these videos, man, I'm doing my job. So that's how it got started. The vision wasn't even this big. And as we started digging in, it just got, bigger and bigger and bigger. And so initially we started off with, of course, I wrote my book, and then we started filming full reality TV show episodes. So we have, if you guys haven't seen it, it's actually on YouTube.
Okay.
It's a full episode. So I travel to different cities. I have different people that I get to hang out with and get their story of how the mats have changed their lives. And I basically travel the city, eat their food, the culture, the mats, all that. So we got 1 through 5 out right now. Number 6 is being edited. And I was down in Mexico with the Gracie family. I was with Hodger, Polis, Igor, all those guys. So that's coming, and that's actually being negotiated right now to be picked up by a network. And we're going to season 2. We just started a new podcast in studio, and we have a new vlog, which is the same concept of what we've been doing in the episodes, but it's a spinoff day with Kenny. So guys are coming to me now. We just got done with Dean Thomas was here yesterday. 2 weeks ago, I had Ronaldo Jacques Souza here. So yeah, it's again, it's to empower people. It's to show that jiu-jitsu is for everybody. It's to empower somebody out there has a similar story that they're going through, whether it's PTSD, whether it's someone getting bullied, whatever the situation may be. Somebody out there has a story to tell.
Yeah. So tell us your story. Start from the beginning, how you found jiu-jitsu and how you are now MatMade.
Other martial art before,
Yeah. So I've been in martial arts since I was like 3 years old. So my father got me into Taekwondo when I was very, very young. And I did that through my teenage years. I mean, I was in the competitive circuit. I was at the highest level doing like junior nationals. Like, that was my thing. That's the only thing I did. I other than playing a little bit of soccer in high school, up until high school, that's the only thing I did. And after high school, I kind of took a turn and, when did some bad stuff, like teenage stuff. And
like teenagers do.
Yeah. And maybe a little bit bad, maybe a little worse than a normal teenager. But, anyways, I got back on course, graduated high school. And then I actually started, instructing a little bit of Taekwondo when I was a teenager. I moved out to California, and then I got into some Muay Thai out there. So I did that up until I was probably 18, 19. And then by the time I was 19, I actually opened up my first school teaching Taekwondo.
Okay.
And Muay Thai and kickboxing. I had a bunch of ladies that were doing. And then right after that, I started training jiu-jitsu. So I was 19 going into 20 years old, and I started training. So, and, that was the beginning of the end, basically gave up everything else and just picked up jiu-jitsu. And here we are 25 years later.
What was it about jiu-jitsu? I know. But what was it, I think we all have that, I say you love it. You find it and you love it or you hate it. There's no in between.
Right.
What was it for you?
I think it was a little bit different back then. Like nowadays, even, when I'm teaching with my academy, it's very systemized, categorized. I teach by like chapters and, it's basically divided. It's a little bit better than what we used to have. It's not where instructors just come on the mat and teach whatever they want to teach. And, first day you get just thrown into the ocean, and then the sharks are out to get you. It was either sink or swim. That was it. And I having some kind of martial arts background, having an ego, I think at the time helped me, because I was like, no, I can't. I'm not letting this 55-year-old woman choke me out on my first day. You know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta do this. So, and I think I talked about this on a previous podcast. I said after the first day, I signed a contract for 7 years. The first day.
7 years.
I was barely old enough,
That's
and
like
I signed
Army.
a 7-year contract.
That's like a prison sentence.
Yeah,
man.
that's.
Yeah. Luckily, my credit was, that's why I was like, I have to go through with it regardless.
I mean, if somebody asked me to sign a 7-year contract for anything right now, I would be that's kind of suspect.
Yeah.
That didn't.
Right.
You stayed there for a while. I think I heard you talking about that. You were there for a while, so it wasn't like you got scammed out
I was
of
there.
it.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that was my instructor, a professor from white belt all the way to my black belt, and we still keep in touch. So it wasn't like you signed for 7 years. It was at the time called a purple belt program. I'm like, well, how long does it take to get to a purple belt? It was like, well, anywhere from 5 to 7 years, because, nowadays, I mean, I guess, because back then it was minimum of 10 years. I never seen anybody like get a black belt before 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you can look at purple belt as like a little bit about halfway, a little past the halfway. And then after that, so I said, okay, well, I want to get the purple belt, because at the time, purple belt was like a black belt now. Like if you've seen a purple belt, that guy was special. He was the guy.
Yeah.
And then a brown belt was like a fairy, like and then like black belt was like
wizard.
And a black belt was it's like Jesus, like you would never see him. Yeah, and he would just just show up, So I was like, yeah, I want to be a purple belt. So that's how I got started. And and then by the time I was a purple belt, well, when I was a blue belt, we had one of our instructors. So we added a jiu-jitsu program into my stand-up school. So I was teaching, we were doing boxing, Muay Thai, and all that. And then we had one of our instructors that came and was teaching at my school. So I was a blue belt at the time. I believe it was like 2001, maybe, something like that. And so I would go to my professor's school 2-3 times a week to train. And then I would train another 2-3 times, at my school. And then by the time I was like right at brown belt, or late purple brown belt, I basically took over the program. And then after that, after I got my black belt, a few years later, I got rid of everything. I was like, I don't want to do it. We had a ring. We lost close to 200 students. A lot of money too. But it wasn't in my passion anymore. I was like, well, I don't want to do this anymore because I just don't enjoy it. You know, you don't want to do something you don't enjoy. It's not about money, you know. And there was a big impact, obviously, the first few months, a year, because when you have residual income coming in and then all of a sudden that's gone. And I was at a new location. I'm at a 5,000 square foot place. I got big mats. I'm like, okay, did I make the right decision? But now looking back, I know I did. And so, yeah, that's exactly how it started.
Wow. So you don't do any taekwondo? Do you still hit the bag on your own once in a while?
I don't do anything. Sometimes I'll go out. I have my boxing coach lives close by. Sometimes we'll hit the mats and stuff. I mean, I have the mitts, but I just don't have the time anymore. Like, as much as I enjoy it, if I have that time, I would rather invest it back on the mats and doing jiu-jitsu. I would learn more. I would teach more. And then now with Matt Made, I've got something every week. I'm out of for the next 6 months, I have 1 or 2 trips that I'm out of town on every single month. On top of my filming here, and then with my students and family and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a whole nother level of love, because we love it, but if our shoulder hurts, we're like,
you can't take a day off.
Yeah, exactly. You sound, you have to have that attitude, I think, to be successful, especially in this.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be driven. You have to have, I call it purpose. You've got to, it seems like it's your purpose now. This is the thing that I wake.
Oh yeah,
aside from family and taking care of my family,
right.
I wake up in the morning and it's my marketing and the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I think about. That's how I take care of them.
Yeah, I don't take a break at all. People, there's a misconception about entrepreneurs. People think, oh yeah, when they're not at work, they're not working. I'm working 24/7. I dream work. I don't even consider it work. I dream this stuff. There's an idea. I'm up writing on my notes, and it's constant. It's never a stop. It's I'm always looking to not only better myself but better the community. So before it started small, it was about me, it was about my own journey, and then it was about my students, it was about the growth of my business, and then of course our side project with Matt Made. Our company's getting bigger. We've got a bunch of stuff. I'll explain a little bit later, but now it's about growing the community, the jiu-jitsu community. So we got people messaging us every day. Oh my God, that was an amazing story. Where can I go train? Where can I go train? Where can I go train? So our website basically now, pretty soon we're launching. It's already launched, but we have 7,000 schools in a directory on mattmade.com.
Wow.
Is it like a map?
Right now? Yeah. So right now it's basically find your mat. On the website right now, it has all of our episode. It has all the short stories on different categories, like PTSD. You click it, it shows all the short stories, so people get inspired by it. And then you go to that geolocation city, and it pulls up all the schools, and it gives you all the criteria. We give you check marks too. If you have this, you get a verification check mark. If you got background checks, your instructor is this. You get 2 or 3 black belts that sign off on you. You have whatever. So we have our criteria.
Way to prove.
And then it lists classes like kids classes, women's classes, whatever, open mat, uniform policy, or whatever it may be. People can click on it to see which one that suits them best.
That's so smart.
Right?
That's great.
And then those academy owners can actually go into our directory and upload their own stuff, like their pictures of their academy, their instructors. They can tell stories and whatnot. And of course, if they wanted to, we have a premium service where we send our guys film commercials for them, marketing stuff, their own short stories. And then we have we're connecting, brands too. Brands are like, hey, we want to be on that front page. So our marketing team does such a great job. Our mattmade.com is going to come up before their website, before anybody's website. When people look for the jiu-jitsu in Atlanta, jiu-jitsu in Austin, jiu-jitsu or BJJ near me, we're going to pop up before anybody else.
SEO.
Yeah. They're going to be able to see all that. I mean, it's again, it's connecting the future students with our current academies, right? And then connecting current students through the website. It's actually brilliant. It's something that, we've been working on, and we're very proud to launch it soon. But right now, we've got so much going on. It's kind of getting pushed back a little bit. But man, once it launches, it's going to be something that everybody wants to get on.
What were you saying about you'll be able to? It sounded almost like I know, like there's a belt checker. It sounded like, besides you got all these other bells and whistles, though, I get that. But there's a little bit of like a belt checker system in there, so you can, if you see a class that you might want to go to, you'll be able to see that instructor, where he got his belt from, his rank, that kind of stuff. Is that what you were saying?
So, no, as far as the instructors go, we're not going to have that. The only thing we're probably going to have on there is if the owner or the head instructor has a background check.
Oh, a background check. Okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Especially if they're teaching kids, we want to know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as far as the rank goes, we're not touching no rank.
Okay.
Listen, people before, different people get their ranks from different people. Some people aren't registered with IBJJF. Some people are on this side of the Gracie family, that side. I care less. What we want to do is we want to make sure this school is legitimate and they offer what they say they offer.
That's great. That's great, man. You're taking the whole thing to another level here.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the goal. That's the goal. And whether it's podcasts, whether it's brands that want to work with us, gi brands, that we want to be the official gi brand of Matt Made or the website. So we have now branched out. So we have our full episodes that's making out to the network. We have our vlogs on a separate ones, and then we have our podcast videos and podcasts that goes out to all the channels. And then we have our website with all the school information, the directories that we have. And then we have our marketing team that will do websites if they want, because it's already been proven. My website has already been proven that they want. And then I also do consultations. I'm actually flying out to Wyoming here in the next couple of months to do a consultation for jiu-jitsu schools, because, if you want to run a school that's professional and be well compensated for it, you got to run it professionally. You know what I mean? And so what that does is that brings up the standard of jiu-jitsu. So when people say, oh man, I pay $100 here, $50 here, it's like, man, most people are cutting themselves here. You spend 10 years getting your black belt and opening your own business, and you just want to, everybody says, I just want to do it for the students, man. I just want to share the love. Yeah, you share the love, but after a while, it's like, man, if you don't get paid, then that love just starts to kind of tank, right? And so we want to bring the standards up for jiu-jitsu. When people think about jiu-jitsu, I don't want them to think, oh man, yeah, it's just what my kids do. I don't want them to think it's like Taekwondo, like, oh yeah, it's just in the shopping center. My kid goes there for like 5 months or 6 months out of the year. No, I want them to be like, man, this is something that we want to do. And they want to know that it's legitimate. Like they're like, hey, look, I don't mind paying $150, $200 or $300, whatever it is, according to their cities, right? So bringing up the standards of the community, that's what we're trying to do.
Is everything under the Matt Made brand? Is everything Matt Made, and then so that that's kind of like the parent company? Because I mean, what you just described. Funny enough, Bo and I were just talking about this before, because he's an artist, he's a videographer, he's a photographer. We were just talking about basically using the words multimedia, right? You're a multimedia. Himself, he does all of these things. You just described just like a jiu-jitsu multimedia company. So I mean, you've got all these arms. Tell us a little bit about the podcast. I know I saw some pictures. You built out a pretty, crazy studio.
Yeah, man. People freak out. We spent
I heard the number.
35, 40 grand just to set it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's and we're not even done yet. We've got another camera that we got to get. Everything's in 6K, the lights and all that. But the cool thing is nobody's done this. And if anybody's watching, don't do this. This is mine. So a podcast is basically a Matt Made podcast. And I always introduce myself as, hey, you're on the mat, Matt Made podcast, on the mat with your host, Kenny Kim. You're literally on the mat. We're on the mat. We have mats.
I saw it.
So we take our shoes off. We bow once we go in. And then we sit. We have all the cameras angled up. And then we haven't used the mat space. Well, we're on the mat, but on the side, we have extra mat space. And then we have lights and cameras set up. So let's say during a podcast, we decide, hey, we're talking about a certain technique. Show me what that is. And we go right over to the mat, and we can actually do the movement. We'll have not a stationary camera, but a rotating camera. That's a cameraman that walks around and actually films everything that we do, and that gets broadcasted.
Don't be mad if you see us do that, because we've been talking about that for a while. We're in an apartment right now in a master bedroom, and we're like, when we move, because I do own a marketing company, so it's like I've got to have a little space for the marketing company and just be able to go. I come an hour, Miguel comes 2 hours to come down to Miami to do the podcast, so we're trying to find something closer to where we are. And part of that is,
where are you guys
at? I live in Coral Springs. We're filming in Miami, right on Biscayne Bay. And Miguel lives in Davie, but he travels up another hour to work. So then it's 2 hours back, right?
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we've talked about, like almost becoming more of a show than a podcast. Yeah. And a little bit more about, like, we want to have an area to film and do content and have people come in. Sure. So that's awesome. Like, that's why I looked at him when you said it. I'm like, we wanted to do that for a long time. It's just a matter of finding this. Like, we got to find. There's not a lot of space the size that we need it. It's like larger spaces that we don't need, and then we'd be spending too much money on the overall space. So I just want to have like I only need like 1,000 square feet to do what we need to do. You know, you don't need a lot of space. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, long story short, great minds think alike.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
Yeah. So but the podcast, I just got, yesterday was another long day. We got done. Was it good? So we're only doing in-person podcasts, almost like the Rogan show, like where I'm not doing any Zoom calls. It's gonna be all local. But for us, what we do is for bigger name people, we fly them out, we get them accommodations, we do all that.
Okay.
We take care of them, you know.
Can't do that. Can't do that yet.
Balling on a
hope
budget.
one day.
Balling on a budget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not flying out a local purple belt just because they're world champion or something. You know what I mean?
Take that.
So he's not.
You take that world
you got
champion
a couple more
purple
years.
belt. That's a lie, because you would have invited Cole Abate when he was a purple belt.
Okay. Yeah. I would have invited him, but I would still made him pay. Like, no, you pay your own way over here, kid.
He got it.
There's an exception to every rule. There's an exception to every rule.
There is. Exactly. Yeah. There is.
But that's cool, man. I love podcasts. I wind up finding new podcasts because I'll always try to listen to at least one podcast that I'll throw on a podcast on the way down. Even like I might watch some YouTube videos and stuff like that. Just do a little research, get a vibe, see are they talkative? I got to get them out of their shell. Do I need more questions, or is the conversation just going to flow? So I find more. I've never listened other than Rogan. I probably don't listen to the same podcast twice because it's like I just got to find something that they were on. They might not have been on every podcast. Yeah.
You know what? That's smart because, you get to actually learn. Yeah. The more you study the stuff, whether it's podcasts, videos, whatever it is, the more you study, the more you see it, the more it's information, man, you're just going to get better at what you're doing, whether it's being a host or even a guest.
Yeah.
Leading the conversation is another thing. I mean, like, I like being on. I like being a host, but I also like being a guest. And what I like about it is because I can always bounce back and forth with the host. Some people, you ask them a question, they're like, yes, and they sit there for 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, you gotta start leading the next question. Yeah.
A good conversation isn't an accident.
When we started, I would watch some stuff and then take questions like bullet points, and never written out like full questions. Bullet points are things that I wanted to touch. So I should say in the beginning it would be the full question. As we got comfortable, then I went to bullet points. And now, other than like I have my screen up here, other than like the intros and my sponsor shoutouts, which I've read 1,000 times and I should probably know by heart, I still keep it here for comfort. But other than that, listener questions I'll put down on the screen, put down on the doc and have them on. But I don't do the questions anymore. Got to usually listen to something, and usually because it's on the way down, it's like fresh in my head. So like we're almost continuing a conversation that I've heard you have already. Right. Other than again the stuff that watching you online and consuming the Instagram
like,
stuff.
Even myself, I don't write anything down. The same thing on a video. Video takes. It used to take me a couple of shots, but now it's like, okay, boom, action, go, and then you're ready to go. Right. It's just like jiu-jitsu. It's like the more you do it, the better you can get at it.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummies sent you. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
You know, it's funny because like the first time I ever do anything, especially if I'm like doing a video by myself or something I got to record, the first one is always the best one. If I'm like, oh, let me do it again, and then I just screw all of them up. I'm like, the first one was the best one. But it's hard. You know, when you're like when you're filming yourself, you're just doing it. I got to do something like on the phone or something. I think I'm more judgmental than this. We don't really cut unless somebody. I think we've probably less than maybe 2 or 3 times
they asked
have
us.
cut things out because somebody's asked us, hey, can you cut that out? I don't really think I should have said that. Or we might say yeah, that's probably a bad look for that guy.
Or the dude that stands up, the guy on Zoom that stands up and he's not wearing any underwear.
Forgets. We've 100. This is episode 108, and I think we really have cut like maybe bleep things out twice and cut
There's
one.
like 3 or 4 times we took out a word or something.
We had a guest. We had 3 guests from an organization, and I guess one of like the younger of the 3 was just so excited to be on the podcast. The event still runs. I won't say the event.
Yeah, no.
And he starts telling a story about the owner of a prominent sports company that we would all know, and it's bad. He's saying what this guy did to somebody else, and he made him quit his job and sell his company. And
wasn't there like some?
Don't say what it is. It was bad.
Take a quick break right now.
Yeah, it was so bad, and I even told him, I'm like, there was 2 things he did. He was telling us how to steal Flow Grappling, how to just.
He pulled a Brendan Schaub.
He did that, and then he told this story, and I went
connection. We gotta go.
Yeah.
When he said the Flow Grappling thing, I was like, dude, your event is on Flow Grappling. Why are you telling people to steal Flow Grappling?
Right.
And I cut him off. Said maybe I don't know if we cut that part out. I think we did. I think we bleeped it, right?
We cut the whole piece out.
Oh, that whole piece. Okay, yeah.
I
remember we did he put like a little animation on the screen, like we're having technical difficulty. Yeah. But that's probably the only time. But it was just like he was just excited to tell this story. Yeah. And the 2 co-owners of the organization called me, and we had never cut anything out yet. We had never cut in the 2 people that were guests with him on the show.
That was
they called when he wasn't around, Yeah, and I said, I go, we've never cut anything. I go, that's like, it was just it was a good story. And I was just like, guys, I really want to leave it in. And, it was new. That was probably in the teens. The episodes were in the teens. And I hadn't dealt with that yet. And I didn't.
Man, for people to go back.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, you can. It's there. And I wound up calling them back after I told them, like, hey, I want to leave it in. I wound up calling back and saying, you know what, I think you're right. You're right. We should probably take that out. It's a bad look. And I told both. Other than that, it's always been just like right through. So what you see is what you get. What you see is what's actually happening on the episodes. The only other time we cut, we cut anything out. We did the one chip challenge. That the hot chip.
Oh God.
We did. Miguel did it.
You can watch me. I did it before the podcast, and then I shot the whole podcast after it.
By the end, he was
crazy.
Like, "Yeah."
I didn't know. It was pure ignorance. He just called me, right? And it was a text or WhatsApp or whatever. He was like, "Hey, you want to do the hot chip challenge?" I was like, "Bet, let's go." And then I was like, "Wait, you're doing it?" And he's like, "No, I want you to do it." And do you want to do it? I don't want you to do it. And I go, "Yeah, whatever." And then I didn't forget about it, but I just didn't care. And then I never did any research, nothing. I just came in here. I didn't even know what the one.
This is like the research guy.
Yeah.
This is the research guy. He knows every fact about UFC fighters. He's like crypto guy. Like he could rattle off like everything that you should buy and how you should do it. But he didn't know about the chip.
Advice.
But he didn't know about the chip.
Speaking of hot chip challenge, my very first episode of Matt Made. It's in Nashville. You guys can look it up.
Hot chicken.
You got to look it up. Look it up now. But in there, Dean Thomas is actually my first guest with that one. He travels up there with me. I'm at my buddy's Milton's Academy. We're getting this great story. So Nashville is known for hot chicken.
Okay. So
we go to a chicken restaurant and we have a hot chicken challenge.
Oh my gosh!
It was called what was I don't even remember the name, but it was hottest on the. It was like 1,000 times
the Scoville scale or something.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, you were in the dark pit.
I mean, I literally took a bite. It was just a bite. It's actually on. It's on the episode. It's funny. And I was choking. I thought I was gonna die. I was choking, and so we all did it, and we were just having a contest to see, who can eat the hottest chicken. But that's probably the first and the last time I'll do any kind of hot challenge, man. It was.
We had to stop.
Was way worse.
We had to stop. We didn't cut it out. We stopped. We left the room. He drank some stuff. Felt a little bit better. Then we came in. We finished the episode, and at the end, we do something called the drill down, which we'll do with you, and. That episode was just the two of us. Our guest had canceled, and we're like, let's do a podcast anyway. It's how we started doing roundtables with just friends and people we train with.
Right.
And then I'm asking him the drill down questions because it's been a long time since he's answered those questions. And he was just giving me like these real quick one-word answers, and I'm like, yeah, something's wrong. Yeah. I could see it in his face. He's like, dude, we got to stop. And we cut it. He walked out. I finished. I said goodbye, and then we were done. But, yeah, he looked like he was ready to explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're brave, man. That's I seen some videos on TikTok, and I was like, these guys.
You know, like how Forrest Gump didn't know he was in the Vietnam War? Like, that's how I came into this challenge.
Was that it?
Yeah.
I
got
honestly
shot in the ass, bro. My best friend died.
I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Honestly, who's Salas? Nick Salas?
Yeah. I
saw Nick Salas do it with on camera, and he ate that thing like it was no big deal. He was like, whatever. They kept the camera on him. He was there with
How long,
with Danny Freestyle.
How long?
It's what gave me the idea to do it. Yeah. I think it was in my mind, and I'm like, oh, we should do that on the podcast. He ate it, and he was fine. And I was like, okay. I didn't think he was gonna.
He's a beast. He does eat like habaneros.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, then he did a whole bunch of other hot challenges and stuff. So I won't do that again.
Cheetos is hot enough for me.
Yeah. I'm good.
I'm like some hot wings from Publix,
and I'm
spicy
good. Tuna roll.
Yeah. Good. That's good. Yes, that's good.
So you mentioned you're in your son's room. How many kids do you have?
Just one.
Just one?
6.
Does he train? Do you have him on the mat yet?
Yeah, he goes there a couple times a week. I had a deep conversation with Hollis Gracie and all those guys, and we were talking about kids, we're talking about when do you push and when do you not push, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I want him to train. I mean, this is my livelihood. I want him to train. But what I don't want is I don't want him to feel like this is dad's. Like, I don't want him to feel like I need to find something for myself. Like, I want him to easily just kind of slowly be brought up into this environment, because we got mats at home. I mean, every day he's on the mats. I mean, like, I'm there, so he sees me. That's the only thing he knows me. Only thing he sees me do is I go work out, I lift weights, and then I train jiu-jitsu. So that's the only thing I do. So he's like, you want to work out? Like, that's the only thing he knows how to do. He's like, are you going to jiu-jitsu? So we're having this conversation. So when is it right? So people tend to be like, same thing with wrestling or other sports. Like, parents are like, oh, you got to do this. They're pushing him so hard. And if you look at the competitive years of an athlete, especially jiu-jitsu, we said something like 8 to 10 years will be like pushing it, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
Right. So do you want to push them from 6 years old to 16 and then they quit? When is the prime? Their prime is what? Probably
20,
16 to 25, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even more. Maybe like,
I say 20.
18 to 30, especially with jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't want him to be, I'm not pushing him to become the next world champion. I want him, like Igor Gracie said this. He said his mother told him, you're a Gracie, even though I'm a Kim, I'm not a Gracie. I want to tell my son, I don't care about you being a world champion or being the best. I just want you to become a black belt one day. That's an accolade in itself. You know what I mean? That's something that most people can't get to, So with that being said, like, how far do I want to push him? He goes twice a week, right? Twice a week. And I don't push him. There's days like that. I think I want to just stay home. I was okay, that's cool. Well, I'm going to go. You can stay home if you want, So I just try to set a prime example, not push him too hard. Like, I just want to have fun,
Yeah.
Because you start pushing him too hard, that's when you're going to start to go the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 10-year degree, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's too young to paint this picture yet, but if he really understood, and again, he's got plenty of time, but if he really understood, not only am I learning something that could save my life, give me confidence, but this could be a business like what you've done, right? And then now you've got the family business, and he's growing up into this thing.
Right.
He'll understand at one point, like, oh, this could be mine, or I could be my own man and go this way and do my own thing.
Right.
Which happens,
exactly.
But the more you push him, the less likely that is to happen. Right. Because it's human nature to not want to do something that you're getting pushed into, right?
Also, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I go train different places. When I meet these people, I talk to them. And I get the vibe of like these people are all successful or chasing success at any moment. I've not met somebody who's like a meathead or a dumbass or like.
Yeah, there's jiu-jitsu meets people like that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's probably like a misconception, like, oh, you do a martial art, like. It's like, what are you?
No, this isn't
doing
just
that
lifting.
For?
This is a whole different beast.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm just saying anything at a professional level.
Yeah.
It's like you could be a black belt in karate in 3-4 years, right? And then you could just say you're a black belt in karate, and it's true, right?
Yeah.
But like you could forget all your karate moves. I feel like if you are a black belt in jiu-jitsu and you stop doing jiu-jitsu for 7 years, you probably still paint the floor with somebody who doesn't know how to fight.
See, only thing that's wrong about that is if you're a black belt, they're probably not going to stop.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying we're drawing hypotheticals here. I'm saying if you quit right now, you're a spry man, If you quit right now, 10 years from now, some, 190-pound, 19-year-old kid, you're going to win a fight.
Yeah. Actually, Dean and I talked about that on our podcast yesterday. He said, Dean was like, look, I've been coaching for he said, I retired in, I forgot what year. He retired and he's just been coaching. He hasn't really, I had him put on a gi yesterday and whatnot. But he said, I can tell you, though, I can keep myself safe.
Yeah.
I won't get beat up. I can tell you that right now. You know what I mean? So to your point, yes, if you're a black belt, I mean, I would say even at purple brown belt, most of the times you've been training, like you should be able to defend yourself.
It's a long journey.
Yeah. Going back to making kids train, I watch a few videos. I can remember, number one, like the Gracies talking about playing jiu-jitsu, right?
Yep.
Their dads, I think it was Hedon and Henner talking about, they played jiu-jitsu with their dad, and they were never pushed. It was fun for them. So then when when you got to the mat, it was just a continuation of something that was like really fun. I think we can all think back to something that we've done with our parents. I was like, oh, that was a good, fishing.
Right.
I used to fish with my dad every, like it was never come on, we got to go fish to feed the family. It was like a fun thing that we did on the weekends, put the boat in the water, go out and fish and be out there all day and just have a good time. I believe in that with jiu-jitsu. And the other thing that I heard from Hedon and Henner, they had one of their black belts, I think it was Henner, on a mat talking to a black belt that was started as a kid in their academy, came up through, is a black belt now. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I think was done with him or he recommended to other parents, which was just tell your kids if they don't, those days that they don't want to do jiu-jitsu, make a deal with them. They have to tell you 2 days before that they don't want to go train, let's say on Friday. What kid is going to remember on Wednesday to, I got jiu-jitsu coming on Friday. Mom, I don't want to go to jiu-jitsu on Friday. Like, they're not going to do that.
My kids.
So now it's Thursday or it's Friday. It's time to go to jiu-jitsu and they don't want to go. Like, hey, we had a deal. You got to tell me 2 days before. Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't make okay, so let me go to jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what his dad did with him or if he was just recommending that to other parents. But I thought that was a really good way of doing it. Again, what kid is going to know, hey, let me plan out my week. Hey, Mom, I'm not going to jiu-jitsu on Friday.
Even though I don't teach the kids classes now, I always tell our students' parents if they have any concerns. And I'm like, there's a reason they don't want to go. Again, one, they're being pushed too much. Like, you got to go. Number two, there's a reason. So I always say you got to break down what the reason may be. For example, it's summertime. They're in the pool. And you say, get out of the pool. We got to go to class. No, I don't want to go. Why? Because you're leaving them in the pool till the last minute and then you got to go. So, or they're playing with their friends. Like, all right, so-and-so has to go home. You got to go. Of course they don't want to go, right? And so what I tell them is, which I do with my kid, is like Monday and Wednesdays, these days you go to jiu-jitsu. So when it's 3:30, when you come home from school, I need you to eat some snack. I need you to get your gi ready, be ready to go. Those 2 days, we're not doing anything else. You're not going to go see your friend. You're not jumping in the pool. You're not doing anything but just getting ready. So long as they know ahead of time, like, this is what I have. You're teaching them to be on schedule, right? You're usually not going to get a problem from that. But these are the days you're going to go. It's like...
What age did your son start, if you don't mind me asking?
We start them at 5.
Okay.
We don't start... Our program at my school... even though he's my son, I'm like, no, I'm not going to start him until he's 5. He's 6 now. It's a popular class that everybody wants to start, but I don't want to play with him. I know a lot of people say, oh, we want to play jiu-jitsu with that age group. I'm like, I know, but I still want them to be able to understand not only the techniques, but understand like directions, understand what they're supposed to be doing. Like the interaction they're doing,
Have a little bit more discipline at 5. There's a big stretch from 4 to 5. There's a big maturity level jump when you're at that age every year.
It's big.
It's different, and they're probably already starting kindergarten, and they have some structure.
They are adorable.
Yep. And we're teaching them. So 5 to 7 is my little champions class, and like we have a waiting list for that class.
Really?
Because I want the quality. I don't take in everybody that comes in. We have 3 instructors. We have 2 black belts and a blue purple belt that teaches that class or assists black belts teach. And we have 18 kids on the roster for that class. That's it. I don't take it anymore.
Okay.
That's a really small class.
Well, 6 to an instructor.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a lot of attention. You don't see that in a lot of gyms for kids programs.
Right, but I want that.
I know. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't want.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No. What's the
40,
age range?
Kids running around 5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
Yeah.
So our classes are 5 to 7, 8 to 12, 13 to 17, and all of our classes are packed. Like we have our teenagers. I mean, we'll have 20, 30 kids in there. Like, I mean, so age appropriate, because when the schools aren't big, sometimes they'll have like 7-year-olds with a 13-year-olds. It's like, that doesn't work. You can't do the same class with them.
No.
Like, either you're going to teach with the 7-year-old standard or a 13-year-old standard, or even a 16-year-old being in an adult class. Like, nobody wants to train with a 16-year-old. That 16-year-old's intimidated, and adults don't want to train with a 16-year-old, right? So, like, if you want your school to be successful, you have to have the appropriate class schedule. Whether, oh man, I don't want to teach all this. I don't want to teach 2 kids. I don't want to teach 5. Too bad, man. You just got to make it work, because you can't put, like, again, you can't put this group with this group or that group with this group. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be a good division there.
Quality over quantity.
We throw the teenagers and the trial people
but eventually
for Miguel to smash. We throw them over to Miguel.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm the trial belt guy.
Miguel likes to brag that he beats up the trial guys.
Yeah, the trial class guys. I'll just like shake their hand, like, hey, did you sign the waiver?
Well, I have one student. I have one of my. Well, I have one of my blue belts. He helps out with the 5 to 7-year-olds, but I call him the welcome committee. So in our fundamental classes, when somebody new comes, usually they work with him, and he basically does everything right. Where afterwards, we're like, man, that was amazing. Of course, the entire atmosphere of the school is important, but when you have somebody, when you first come, they welcome you, they sit there all the way through, work with you, people are going to feel comfortable about coming back,
For sure.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're just throwing out on the mat, like, just follow along. It's like, well, what's the shrimp? What's this? Well, I mean, they don't know what they're doing.
You're doing it right. That's the right way to do it. I mean, I've had my kids. We did the math. My daughter's 4th year in jiu-jitsu was on the 9th of this month, so just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
My son started as soon as he turned 5 or 6. Same thing, because Felipe doesn't take kids smaller than 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time. And I don't think he does. Like, I remember having the conversation with him.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Because he wanted to. He was there, and watching his sister train. He's like, I want to get on the mats.
I remember.
And Felipe was just like, no. And I was like, I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Like,
it's hard to imagine a class of 4-year-olds. It's not just
wrangling cats,
Yeah.
And sometimes, what's funny is, like, people, and I haven't gotten this question in a long time. I don't get these questions anymore. But when you first start out, people are like, well, why does the kids' classes cost more than adult class? It's like, well, they should actually cost more, not less. Because, with adult classes, I can have one instructor out there teaching 50 guys.
Yeah.
With 5 to 7-year-olds, I have to have 3 people to teach just a handful of people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they have to keep their eyes on them. They have to make sure they're safe. And it's just, I'm like, we should actually be charging a lot more for kids classes than we do for adult classes, which I know a lot of schools go the other way around, which they shouldn't even. I mean, they should be all even anyways. But
you have to tap. You have to tap for the kids. Like, you do, for real. Like, you got to go, let that go. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Especially when they're really young.
They don't know. They don't have.
They don't know, and sometimes they got like a legit submission, like sunk in.
Yeah.
Like a 8th degree black belt.
They're like, whoa.
Hey. But they don't know.
So, are you training? Like, do you consider yourself? And I know that there's a lot of people just say, I just teach jiu-jitsu, but do you do like a more sport jiu-jitsu, or are you teaching like the self-defense? Like the old school Gracie style of the self-defense stand-up stuff as well?
Like bullyproof?
Do you feel like does your school have a style?
So at the fundamental level, they see both. They see some more of a concept. Yes, I do teach the more of old school Gracie style of self-defense too, but more of a concept, and not more so like, grab me here, you do this. Or do this and I'll do this. It's more of like, okay, how would you avoid punches? How would you manage your distance to avoid punches to get to a good clinch position to get a takedown if this was, a street scenario? So in the fundamental level, I always throw that in there, like more of a conceptual thing than an actual just one technique. And we do work some techniques that work, but I'm like, if you guys can manage the distance, whether it's standing or on the ground, like, what with strikes and with submissions, whatever it may be, like you're going to be able to be safe, right? So it's kind of in between, and then of course we have a competition side of it. But yeah, I mean, it's I guess you can say it's a hybrid. Like I don't, and I know it sounds kind of cliche. People say I just do jiu-jitsu. It's just like, but it's not all just sport jiu-jitsu, but it's not all just self-defense, like, because that gets kind of like, I mean, even though that's the lineage that came down from Hickson's lineage, and we did all the surprise attacks, the bear hugs, defenses, all that. I think it's great, but again, as jiu-jitsu is evolving as a self-defense system, also not only as a sport but as a self-defense system, you don't see a lot of like useless, like nobody's gonna grab me in a bear hug. Nobody's gonna grab me by my collars like this. Although, like, the headlock escapes I teach all the time because I think they're very common, even in the school ground, playground, you'll see, headlocks. It's just very natural for kids and people to just grab each other in a headlock, whether they're standing or move. I mean, I always say, look, as humans, as mammals, we go for the neck. You look at any animal, they attack the neck. You can control somebody if you can control their neck. So as humans, you put two little kids wrestling together, you know what they do? They grab the neck first. It's the first thing you do. Yeah. So, getting out of stuff like that, we work on all the time. Even as blue purple belts, I still see them like, make the underhook. Don't grab them by the head. They got them in a headlock, I'm like, so that kind of techniques I'm a big fan of, but I pick and choose what I think would apply in a street scenario or as a self-defense. You know what I mean? Like, guy pushing you, coming after you. Okay, well, are we going to shoot down for a double leg? Are we going to get to a body lock clinch? How are you going to cover your face? That type of deal, right? Or if you're in a guard position, like you're on your back, the guy's in there, he starts to punch, what are you going to do? Side control, how are you going to block the punches? More so in that manner rather than the traditional system of like, okay, guy, guy comes up and grabs my wrist. Okay, I'm going to do a wrist removal. Like, if you look at that, not only did Helio Gracie did it, if you look at the old judo, the old karate, like those systems have been around for hundreds of years, and we're just kind of bringing it back and still teaching it, right? And again, I get it, but I think there's certain things that we should teach and certain things that we shouldn't. Like, there's certain things that I'm not going to teach, even though I learned them all. I'm not going to teach like gun disarms and stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's another subject. I think that should be like, okay,
not here.
You leave that up to the gun experts. If you want to really learn about that stuff, go learn that. You know what I mean? The knife stuff. Like, somebody really knows how to use a knife, you're not going to disarm them, man. You're going to get
You run. Right. If anybody ever teaches you, like, how do you fight a guy with a knife, you go, I'll teach you right now what to do. You grab a marker, right? And just go like, okay, this is a knife. And then you just like, we're just going to get in a little scuffle, try and take the knife away from me, okay? Pretend like you want to let me see what you got. And then you just step away and you see how much marker they got on themselves. You'd be like, this is what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about...
You run, dude.
It's not about if you're going to get cut. Somebody has a knife, you're going to get cut. How badly you're going to get cut?
Yeah.
Edge weapons
you don't know, but you're going to get cut. So, again, those kind of stuff, I always say hand to hand. When I talk about self-defense with jiu-jitsu, I always say hand to hand. Mm-hmm. It being hand to hand. Like, no weapons involved, hand to hand.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is always going to win. And then again, we talk about scenarios of like what could possibly happen. But again, some of the stuff that I come up with, sometimes, I mean, most of the times I don't teach that because I just feel like it's outdated, I
just thought of a modern self-defense technique. I feel like if you don't carry your phone around while you walk, you got two hands, and most people only got one. If you get an altercation.
Well, you can't film
sad
it,
but
then.
true.
You can't film it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can't film the beatdown. Kenny? Are you still competing? I think I heard you talk about you had a knee injury in the last couple of years. Are you back to competing?
I had a full ACL reconstructive surgery back in April last year.
Wow.
And my meniscus, I had 2 tears in there. So, anyways, I got all that replaced. I wasn't supposed to roll for like 9 to 12 months, but I was rolling like after 2 weeks or something. I don't know, something crazy.
You were the
still doesn't. it still doesn't feel right. Right now it's like loose, and I don't even think if the surgery will work because I trained too quickly. But it is what it is. But last time I competed, I actually had a super fight right before my surgery, so probably last year.
Right. You had it already torn. It was already torn.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, well, it can't go any worse than this.
I have a training partner, a friend of both of ours. Ray he just had the surgery, and he's like, he was walking around day one. He doesn't put on the brace. He's in the gym. He's got his whole family training, so he's there no matter what. But even if they weren't there, he would still he comes. He'll come and sit, and he puts on his gi. He lines up, and then he'll watch the class. He's that guy, which is awesome. And he just had surgery like a week ago, like within the last 10 days. And he's walking around. He's dying to get out. He's absolutely going to be on the mat before the doctor says it's okay. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Well, I mean, right? What's February right now? So I'm at month 10 right now, and I'm training normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I was training normal month 6, 5, 4. You know.
Did you get cadaver graft?
Huh?
Did you get the cadaver graft, or did they rebuild off of something that you had?
No, cadaver. They're like, man, I'm not taking your old raggedy, Yeah. No, I got the doctor's a personal friend. He's also a black belt, right? So he gave me the inside scoop. It was like a 23-year-old's, obviously a dead man. Sorry to him, but good for me.
He's dead now.
He did something with his life.
I got his Achilles tendon, which is one of the strongest.
Oh yeah, that's how you do it.
Ligaments.
Wow. My brother got that.
And that's what I have. That's what they put in me. So as far as competitions go, though, I don't know. I mean, I'm not done.
Yeah.
But I do it for fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And time allowing, because I just, like I said, I just got so much stuff going on. Like this weekend, I'm coaching. We got Atlanta Open here on Saturday, so I'm coaching all day Saturday. So I got that going on. I don't usually try to compete when I'm coaching because I don't want to take away time from them because I need to focus on me. So if time allows, I would love to. And it's just fun for me now. It's
Can I see your hands? You've got the jiu-jitsu knuckles, right? You got some jiu-jitsu knuckles there, brother.
Yeah.
I could see, when you're waving them around, I could see.
In the morning, I wake up, I'm like this. I'm like, I can't open my hands, like.
That bad?
Like this. Yeah. I mean, like, I've got this little condition where, like, this part of the nail doesn't grow because it's not a lot of trauma here. Yeah. And I went to the surgeon, went to the doctor, and they looked at my finger. They're like, oh my God. They're like, your hands are just very arthritic, all of them, like all your digits. I was like, you think? They're looking at it.
Is that what it is? Like, is that what blows it up? Is that the arthritis?
Yeah.
The finger that blows it up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's arthritis basically. And then it gets twisted. Like this finger got caught during pans, and it doesn't really work.
That's all you got.
I'm in the.
You always got a grip though with that guy. It's the last one.
I can grip you like this.
Yeah.
I think, was it Nick Salas that says, "I just let go"?
Yeah.
And he was just like, I just let go. I don't need. You want to take my finger? You want the gi that bad? Just take it. I'm gonna let go, and I don't get caught up.
No, that's true. I do that too nowadays.
I learned that.
If I'm just casually training, I don't hold on to grips anymore. Like it's gotten so bad where it's not even just holding on, but it's like going for collar chokes. Yeah. It's just anything that has to do with it. You know what I mean? That it's gotten to a point where it's like I don't think it's getting. Man, maybe it's getting worse, but it's sometimes when it hurts, I just use no gi grips. Instead of grip. But that's part of it. I mean, I wouldn't have any other way.
Tell us about the tats, or do you have jiu-jitsu tats, or is it? Are there other meanings, or there you go? Not made.
Yeah.
There you go. That's right there. That's the cover. That's the the YouTube thumbnail
right there.
Oh yeah, the jiu-jitsu kanji.
I don't have a lot of like these jiu-jitsu tattoos I got later on in life. I was like, I don't want to get no jiu-jitsu tattoos, but it was like Matt May was basically because that's me. It was before the book, before the reality TV, before none of that. Before it actually was a company, before it was any brand.
You were saying that?
Yeah. I'm Matt May.
Yeah.
that's how this was born. Like,
is that a king? Is that a king on the pinky? What's like a chess piece?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got that. I got one other jiu-jitsu tattoo on my leg. It's like that thinking monkey choking another monkey. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
When did you get your first tattoo? How old were you?
Oh man, that's a long story. I'll tell you though.
Go ahead. Yeah.
My first tattoo I got when I was 14.
Oh boy.
Yeah, 14. So just quickly, I'll tell you the story. My buddy that I was, in high school that I was friends with. Again, I grew up in this poor town.
In Georgia.
There's a lot of drugs and whatnot. Yeah.
Your whole life.
His brother, my buddy's brother, was a big time drug dealer. He was still in high school with us. We were like freshmen and like 8th grade freshmen, and then he was probably like a junior, whatever, probably a dropout.
That was his cover.
Anyway, he's a big time drug dealer. And long story short, the guy who was selling drugs for him couldn't pay him back. So he basically said, and the guy owned a tattoo shop and an old school Cadillac. He said, leave me the key to the shop and to the Cadillac. And he did. And so my buddy's brother basically took over the tattoo shop. He didn't know. And they were making like rap, albums in the back. And he didn't know anything about tattoos. Just had stencils and stuff. He was like, you want a tattoo? I was like, hell yeah, I want a tattoo. So I got my first tattoo. It's covered up now, but I got my first tattoo over here when I was 14. I was walking around school with the wife beater on, middle of January, cold as hell. Like, hey, man, look at my tattoo. I thought it was the best thing ever.
What was it? What was the tattoo?
It was it was some old English characters that was on there.
Nice. That was very popular in those days. I used to like draw in Old English.
Yeah.
Like when I would doodle in class. I remember that. And then stupid S, the 6 lines.
Oh yeah, the little diamond S.
Yeah.
But that's how my tattoo started. Yeah, it was crazy. My second tattoo I got when I was 17. I got it in a flea market.
All the best places.
Some places you don't want to bargain.
Yeah. I think it was like $30 at the time or something.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what do you want? I was like, I don't know. I was just looking at the wall and I was like, just give me that. He was like, cool.
It was like a haircut, 18. I'll take 18.
Yeah.
Make me look like 18.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get tattoos, man, unless like it has to mean something to. I had a friend that he had Mortal Kombat. In his teens, Mortal Kombat, and he had who's the cartoon
Tasmanian
character? The Tasmanian Devil.
No way.
The Tasmanian Devil, and I'm like,
yo,
when I saw him do that stuff, I was like, I never said it to him, but like, you're gonna totally regret those tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that you're gonna outgrow, and maybe I don't talk to him, but I don't know if he did or not. But like, you're getting these things that are like. Childlike.
The 7-year-old. I was gonna say the 7-year-old version of him thinks he rocks.
Yeah. So ever since then, I was just like, it has to mean something. I have like my daughter's name, jiu-jitsu, my EKG for my heart attack, my Puerto Rican flag, like all things that you are never going to change. Sure. I do jiu-jitsu. I have a daughter. Yeah. I'm Puerto Rican. Like, those are all things that are just never going to change. That's what I suggest to anybody who's looking to get a tattoo. Yeah. It's just absolutely got to mean something to you.
I got a mustard bottle.
After the first 2 tattoos, I was so young. I just, but after that, all of my pieces have some kind of meaning or a place in life. Mm-hmm. Whether it was a time in my life or an incident in my life or something that represents me, my culture, my kid, like I got my kid's name right there.
Right.
Like, this is pretty cool because, as you can see, that's the American eagle.
Right.
And this is like a food dog, right? So it's kind of like East and West. It's kind of like I'm American, but
that makes sense.
The culture.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? It just kind of distinguish the two sides of me. So yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, I've seen people with like SpongeBob SquarePants, an ice cream here, a taco here. It's like,
pizza. I've seen a guy with a slice of pizza, pepperoni pizza.
I have a bowl of lobster bisque on my butt cheek.
Yeah.
Can y'all please stop talking shit? Because I have a mustard bottle tattoo.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't want
It's on my arm.
do you really?
It,
I got. Let me see. A
It
mustard
literally
bottle?
says too much mustard.
What does it mean? See, I would never want to do that. What's the meaning?
It does mean something. It was my old army buddies. Anytime anybody would cross the line, they would say too much mustard. So like if you just like your mama joke went too far or something like that, you'd be like, too much mustard.
So it means something.
It does mean something. But I do have a mustard bottle tattoo.
I even like my tattoos are places that I could like on the inside of my arm. I was like, this is for me.
Yeah.
This wasn't for me to show anybody. It was for things that really truly meant something to me. And like I even like the Puerto Rican flag is on the inside of my arm. It's just for me. It was for me. It didn't. It meant I did a very specific design because it meant something to me. So I don't know. I
tattooed chest hairs, and then this way nobody notices that it's a tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. They do that now. The dudes do that.
Yeah, the hairline. I had a client.
They do your hairline.
I saw that. I used to, at Wagner's. I wrote there's a famous ass dude.
My whole
The guy
face
that
is
does
a
it.
tattoo.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. They do the
My
hairline.
whole face is a tattoo.
Yeah.
No, dude.
Kenny, I want to change it up a little bit because I've talked about this a lot in the past as a podcaster. When people have asked me, like, oh yeah, how do I do that? I always give the advice. I love giving out advice if somebody's going to do it. But the first thing I've always said to anybody that wanted to do a podcast was, don't do a podcast because it costs a lot unless you have the money. It costs a lot of money. People don't see the equipment, or you need to advertise. Like I've seen great podcasts come and go. They're waiting for somebody to knock on the door to give them money. They're waiting for sponsors to come to you. They have no machine to do those things. They just spend zero money on advertising. And so I'll tell everybody, I'm like, don't do a podcast.
And jiu-jitsu is so
But
niche.
if you're not going to listen to me, then here's how I did it. I've even talked to people like, I'll put you in touch with Bo and tell you the equipment that we've got for free. I don't care. Just we'll help you if you're going to do it. But if you're going to do it right. Have a little bit of money, save some money. You got to do some advertising. You got to do these things.
Right.
I'm sure now that you're doing it, and even with Matt Made, do people come to you for advice for those type of things? And what do you tell them?
Good for me is that I always say I don't do none of that. My team handles which they do. My team handles all that, so I don't even know what. I show up. We say we have a time slot. I show up. I do my thing, and I leave.
Yeah.
So
we need a team, bro.
I mean, only advice that I would give would be like, find out why you want to do a podcast, and if you're gonna do it, you need to make sure you're consistent at it. Like you can't be like, I'm gonna do it. Let's say if you decide I'm gonna do one a month, then you better do one a month. You can't do, I'm just gonna skip this month and go to next month. If you're gonna do one a week, you better be doing one a week. And it just needs to be that consistency, because for anything to grow, like if you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, again, I always use the analogy, right? You've got to show up. You've got to be consistent. So same thing with the podcast. I'm like, you got to be consistent. You can't be just like, I'm going to take a little break here and come back and do it again at a later date. That's not going to work,
I've had some of that, a part of that, what you said there. I have that conversation with people too. And I had it with one of our original co-hosts. And he asked me about the cost, and we were talking about podcasts. He wanted to do something on his own. And I said, why do you want to do it? What's the goal? Mm-hmm. Is the goal to get famous? Is the goal to be rich? Or is it just for yourself? And no matter how many people listen to it, sitting down with the people that you want to interview fills something in you. And it doesn't matter if it's successful in the terms of money or in listeners and followers. If it's just for you, which of those three? And usually if it's I want to get famous, I kind of like don't do it for that. That's the one you don't do it for. You want to do it to make money, and and because you feel like you have something good to say, and ultimately you want to lead it to money. I think that's kind of the right answer. Like, it's a passion, and I would like it to lead to money, and I would like it to lead. But anybody that's ever said it, really, actually, no one's ever answered it that way. But if they would say, I want to be famous, it's like don't even start, because you're starting from the wrong place. Right. You got to do something that you're passionate about, and again, you're right. Consistency is key. You have to if you want people to follow you, they expect to. Okay, you're doing one a week. I'm tuning in once a week. Where is the podcast? How come you're not? Right. And then they'll fade away and find something else to fill that gap. But
Right.
yeah, man, it's a good place to be, man. If you got to show up and talk, I like that part.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we have our team to set everything. I mean, we've gotten to a point where not only the podcast, like if we're on set, like, hey, we're gonna be here at this time, everything is set, show up, do my part, and that's, we had to get there. It didn't happen overnight. It was a lot of, money, time, a lot of investments going on. You know what I mean? A lot of personal relationships. Like I have a lot of good Like you'd be surprised if I like open my phone book up, you'd be like, just in the G's, you'll see, like a dozen Gracies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see, like the prominent members of like our community, I have them on phone list, and I can usually make a phone call and, get in touch with them. But that didn't come overnight. It's me starting, from a fresh white belt to where I am now, traveling, spending money, competing, attending seminars, teaching seminars, doing camps, doing this, doing that, doing things for charity, doing, like all that adds up to volume later on.
Yeah.
It doesn't just, all right, I'm going to do this and everybody's like there. Even like Matt made stuff, like it didn't take off like day one. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. It's a slow process. Like every day we get posted. Like, it's a slow build up. And then
Patience.
one at a time, people start to see it. And a lot of times when we talk to people, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that was Matt made, but I seen that video. I shared it.
Thanks.
That's it. You keep seeing it, you keep hearing it, then you're gonna make.
Yeah, I mean that's how it started to pop up in my feed. Like I don't know exactly what you could like a testimonial or somebody telling their story, right?
Yeah.
I would see those and I'm like, oh, these are good. All right, follow, occasional, share the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, right, it starts coming up more. And then I was just like, oh, what is this? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Matt, oh, wait, this guy. Oh, this Kenny. Okay, who's this?
Yeah, that's
right. It obviously leads you to that. So, but I mean, that takes time. It's,
Sure.
My wife did not love this whole jiu-jitsu thing, training or the podcast. I started later in life. So we were dating and got married a few years ago. So she was always, like, where are you going? Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu threw up on you. Like, every shirt is jiu-jitsu, the tattoo, I was like, then she found something that she loved. She found kickboxing, and then it made sense to her. Then it started to make sense, this obsession with this. But I did, it was an investment in time. I mean, I was a purple belt when we started this, I think.
Yeah.
I was a purple belt. And, it's been, it's, May is 4 years that we've been doing it. We did 2 a month in the beginning,
nice.
And now we try to do 4. Sometimes it might be 3 with the holidays and things like that, but it's 1 a week. I think we're in a good spot. I'd like to do maybe 2, but that would require retirement from my regular gig because it's a job, and Bo does the back end. I do the promotion. I do the marketing. I've got some people.
Oh, you guys did great. Like
some
of the IG posts that you guys posted, ask questions here, that kind of stuff. I think it was brilliant because a lot of podcasts don't really. I mean, like the graphics you guys did, it was good. Like it was really good. I shared one of them. Like it's not all podcasts are like that. Some are. I've had a couple that I ended up canceling last minute because they weren't professional. And so, but no, everything from the follow up phone calls to your posts, all that. I mean, that's very professional, and I think that's, again, should be industry standards. Like it's anything that you do, it should be up to that high standard. So in our Matt Made company, we have a slogan: Black Belt Excellence in anything that we do. So whether it's a podcast, I said, if we're going to do a podcast, we said Black Belt Excellent. That's why we spent the money to set up that nice studio, because we weren't going to just put in, okay, just grab some, $50 mics and some cameras and whatever, and we're going to do this. No, that's not Black Belt standards, right? So to a Black Belt standard, we would say, you know what? We're fully in. We're going to make the investment, because in the long run, it's going to pay off. I mean, it looks almost like a 2020, interview.
We blue belted that shit.
Yeah, we blue belted.
It's funny because
three stripe blue belt.
Bo was, I should say, Bo doesn't train, but he took that approach, what you just described. He didn't let me just like.
He's a professional.
Because I don't know the stripes and stuff. I'm just saying he did not let us move forward. It was like he was with me from the beginning. We talked about it, and he's like, no, we should do it like this. And he didn't let me cut corners, and we invested in equipment, and we did those things. Now, there's two things that I had that a lot of people don't have. Like when you're thinking about podcasting, I owned a marketing company. I've been been doing marketing for 16 years, so I know that whole side. Like you say, the designs. We've got a team that does those designs. It's not me doing it. And I know a lot of people they would have to do the design, and then they have to post it, and then they have to book the guests. So for a long time we had a girl that booked the guests. I just took it over again, but we had somebody booking the guests. My daughter runs the graphic design team, and she gets all the graphics made for our marketing company clients and the podcast. The podcast is just like a client of the marketing company now. And then I had Bo, doing the production and doing the video work and all that stuff. So then I have a guy that does our reels, guy that just cuts our reels and our TikToks, and those are doing really well. So we've added on.
You got a team, man.
I had that experience. And one of the things that we did from the beginning was giving stuff away. So like if anybody submits a question, or usually the guests, like I send out a T-shirt and a coffee mug, or if we use their question, they get to choose. I send them stickers, and I send kids T-shirts and stuff like that. So in the beginning, we were in the beginning, we got sponsors to give stuff away. So we'd ask for product, but we don't send it to us. I'm going to give you an address to send it to if we use a question. Or So from the beginning, we were giving away tons of stuff. So we got traction right away because we were the guys that were giving away CBD and T-shirts and all this. And that's kind of my wife would be like,
well, we got a big contest now. Like if you use like our promo code and
we did a rash guard with one of our sponsors. So if anybody buys anything, they're in a raffle. If anybody buys anything from any of our sponsors, if they send us a receipt, we put them in a raffle to get that rash guard set. So we've done cool things like that too. Yeah, I mean there was a method to the madness. It wasn't just like let's just talk about jiu-jitsu. We had something from the beginning, and I had Bo doing the the background, and he cut this thing out of this is like on a piece of cardboard from one of our old vinyl banners, and you can't even tell there's a light behind this, and but he cut that so nice. And like it's just a vinyl banner that he cut the logo out and put it on.
Looking at that sign, we're trying to get a sign, like a real nice neon lit sign.
Get it?
Yeah, it's another.
Don't get if it's gonna be on camera. Don't get neon. Get like the bendable LED ones because you want to be able to control. Don't get neon.
That's what it is. I say neon. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a neon light behind this.
You mean like neon style?
You probably can't even tell that there's a neon sign, like a neon. There's a blue behind it. If we turned out the lights and left it. You can't really tell too much, but I mean, it's with the lights on, it's great. But like little things like that, we did, and
the lighting.
I think again, credit to Bo. He had me do things right from the beginning.
I'll tell
and made
you
the right
what,
suggestions.
since you guys are giving away stuff, I'll donate a mat-made gi for you guys to give away.
Okay, very cool.
It's blue. It's a real nice. It's very nice piece. So I have every size.
That's cool.
Okay.
So if you guys want to give that away,
absolutely. Let's let me think about like what we want to do to give it away, like what we want the contest to be. Like we make it.
Anytime.
Sometimes what I do is we'll launch the show. We could also just do like a giveaway, like follow, tag a couple of friends like that. Like follow you guys, follow us, tag some friends. Yeah. Is how we usually do giveaways. That would be awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
That's great. Yeah.
And again, I won't send it to you. You just let me know.
We'll give you the address.
And we'll just ship it out from our warehouse. And,
send us a picture.
They'll get it. We have all sizes like A0 all the way up to A5.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I'll have my graphics team put something together. Again, we've done it before. Funny enough, I was just at one of our sponsors, Neutral Zone. I just emailed them or texted them today, and I said, "Hey, we haven't done a giveaway in a while. You guys ready?" And we were doing at least once a month. BJJ Box does one like every 2-3 months. So they'll give us 2 boxes and we'll give them away to listeners. Same thing, like follow us, share, comment, all that stuff. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
That's some podcast alpha right there.
Yeah.
This whole podcast has been BJJ podcast alpha news.
Yeah.
Just all good stuff.
All right, so now we're gonna do our signature segment.
The drill down.
Okay. There we go. We got both.
Drill down. All right.
The drill down. Yeah. So we used to call it a speed round. I hate calling it a speed round because we'd like to elaborate and we'll talk.
We're long-winded.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
My mom told me I should be a lawyer because I didn't know how to shut up. So so we're gonna go through these questions. So gi preference, gi or no gi?
Right. Oh, that's hard.
Tough one, huh?
How do you feel today?
With those fingers, I
Do I
swear to
have
God,
to choose one?
with the fingers, I was like, he's totally a gi guy.
yeah.
He's not going to say no gi.
No. You know what? Here's the thing. I love the gi, but also there's a essence and beauty in the no gi.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think I can choose. I like both. Look, we do majority of gi, but no gi is just as important, I think. You know what I mean? I would say gi's like my child, and then no gi is like my stepchild.
Yeah.
I still love them.
You love them both, though? All right, I'll take it. So, takedown or pull guard?
That's another hard one. You're asking me these here. So, in my mind, when I'm training, man, I'm going for takedowns. Like,
It's
I'm
takedown.
killing it.
It's
And
takedown.
then, like, whenever I enter a tournament, I'm like, all right, I'm taking this guy down. As soon as I make grips, I pull guard.
So here's something I've noticed after asking this question to a lot of elite, like or very high level jiu-jitsu players, is when you ask them pull down or take guard, they feel like if they pull guard or take guard, take down or pull guard. I'm sorry. And when you ask them this question, it's like they don't want to answer you right away because in their head they're like, but it's like situationally based. Like, do I take down now?
Yeah.
Or do I pull guard now? We don't think any less of you. We're just saying which one's the favorite.
I remember somebody answered it and didn't want to. He's like, I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend my no-gi fans. I think it was Robert. What's his name? Robert. Robert. I think it was Robert Drysdale.
Yeah.
I think it
Drysdale,
was.
yeah.
But he's like, I don't want to offend anybody on either side.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't think he wound up answering it. But all right, so we'll go to the next question. Music during rolling, yes or no?
Yes.
What's your go-to?
100%.
What's your go-to song?
Depending on the mood.
Artist or style?
Well, my moods change. Like I believe in what we call the algorithm, right? So we're always up and down. Sometimes mentally we're here. Sometimes, it dips up and down. So depending on the mood, sometimes I'm in the death metal, like, man, I need this thing to go, right? And sometimes I'm into like nice hip hop. Sometimes I put on what I call, it's called jazz pop. So it's jazz, but with a pop beat.
I got
So
you.
when you're rolling, it's like the beat is there,
beat,
right?
yeah.
So it really depends. Yeah.
Okay.
So it really depends. But the music, yes. I don't like rolling in silence.
So with so much exposure and being a creator, do you watch jiu-jitsu? Are you like somebody who's watching every WNO?
A consumer.
Are you are you a consumer of content online, of BJJ content online?
No.
Not you?
What about like UFC or any other type of events or anything like that? Nothing. Just
Dean and I were talking last night. By the time the UFC main event comes on, I can't make it. I'm sleeping.
yeah. Oh, this last one was ridiculous, man. It didn't start because it was supposed to be in Korea, and they couldn't do it in Korea, so they did it in Vegas. But it was catered for the Korean fans.
Okay, gotcha.
So the main card didn't start until 1 a.m.
Yeah, they've done that a few times, like during the day, because of like.
Dude, 1 a.m. our time.
No, I get it.
It was
We're not
catered.
the, we're not the only audience,
Yeah, we weren't the target audience.
I don't watch any sports. Like I am not a fan of football, basketball, nothing. I don't watch anything.
I just found out the Super Bowl's coming up
this Sunday.
I would watch that just for the commercials. We used to have, Super Bowl parties just for the commercials. So
Commercials are the best.
but I would watch like jiu-jitsu matches only if it's somebody like one of my teammates or close friends that's competing, then I may watch it. But even that, sometimes I don't watch it because I'm like, you know what? In just a few minutes, I'm going to see a 10-second highlight reel of who won.
Yeah, true, right?
And
Same thing with UFC. I'll wake up in the morning. I know who the champion is. I'm like, okay, well, cool. So,
I am going to try to see
this weekend
the Volkanovski fight. And
take guard.
I am yeah, my wife and I are celebrating Valentine's Day on Saturday.
Nice.
So
okay.
Luckily she's cool about it.
Pero no Sunday.
But I don't think I'm going to get to watch it. I don't think I'm going to watch it live, but I may get it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And watch it. But again, it's just like, well, if I miss it, I'm just going to see the highlights online. Why am I spending $80?
I mean, literally, No, it's minutes after the main event or minutes after the match or whatever.
Seconds on
You're
Twitter.
going to see it. It'll just pop up on your feed and you'll be able to see who won. So.
I'm not saying that I do this,
Mm-hmm.
but I've heard a little bird told me a lot of times people will just watch it on TikTok now. Like there are live feeds of the fights. And again, I don't do this.
Okay, Brandon. You're still.
I don't do
okay,
it. Not me, but I know that they're there. I see it every once in a while.
You know what? I've done the math. It's actually cheaper for me to go to a bar and watch the UFC event than it is for me to stay home. The thing is I don't really drink that much, and I don't like bars. So that sucks.
There's a great.
And I like to hear the commentary as well.
Miller's Ale House in Coral Springs has a great outdoor area. We've been there, right?
Yeah, I used to live there.
There's a place that has a really nice outside patio, completely covered. So if it's raining, you're not going to get wet. But it's all open, no windows, no walls.
You guys are lucky down in South Florida.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a perfect place. It will only get packed for like the biggest of like hugest fights. Yeah. But I can go there, watch a UFC, get a table, watch a UFC, and just
chicken wings.
I've gone with my wife. We've just watched.
I like it because it's all wood too. So like the wood makes it feel different.
Yeah, feels like Florida.
Yeah, it feels like it's like all wood deck.
Okay,
it's real nice.
So all right, let's go to the next question. So you mentioned you would only watch your friends. Do you have a favorite competitor or a friend like I can't miss one of his fights? I can't miss one of his matches.
No, I don't have if it was one of my students, for example, that was okay. Let's say it was one of my students. Okay, I'm going to be competing at Pans or I'm going to be competing at Nationals, and it's on flow. Then I'll try to catch it if I can't be there. I'll try to catch that, but I don't have a. I just I like to take that time. I've been getting into trying to read books again, so like I'm so consumed with jiu-jitsu. I'm so consumed with. This is 24/7 me all day. This is all I do. So even though I love it, I need my mind to be kind of free.
Yeah. You got to turn it off once in a while.
Yeah, you're in, man. You're in.
It's like an accountant doesn't go home and then like play on his calculator, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get that.
It's like a barber. Barber doesn't.
That's such an antiquated statement.
You know what
I definitely I'm on social media because I'm posting for the podcast. I'm usually the one actually doing the postings. I tell my wife if it wasn't for the podcast, I would not be on social media at all. I love it,
right?
But I hate it because it does consume so much time. And like when I go into a deep, like, oh wow, an hour's passed and I've been watching video, or even longer for most of the time. Or my wife would be like, "Don't watch TV tonight. I'm going to sleep. Don't watch TV in the bedroom." So I'm just like there with my phone, and then it's like 2 or 3 hours past. Like, it's too much.
Yeah.
So I try to stay off as much as I can.
Even though I have a team that handles all our social media, like once we film the contents, they post it. They do so we have teams that handle all different parts of our company. But I get a lot of DMs. I mean, like from the weirdest questions to, hey, can you do a seminar? Can you do a camp? To what kind of knee brace are you wearing? Companies that want to sponsor. Hey, do you want this? Do you want that? To people making comments, and I try to do my best to answer everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's hard sometimes. When it has 200,000 views and 1,000 comments, it's like, oh my god,
that's impossible.
I can't get to every one of them.
Unmanageable.
Yeah.
So, but I try. Like in the beginning, I try to get in there, and then at 10:30, my phone goes on do not disturb mode, and I'm done. Like I put it down, and then I'm up at 6 or 5:30, and then I'm right back at it again.
I'm happy you answered our message pretty quickly. I did the message.
You know what's crazy is I told Dean, and he agreed with me too. There's certain messages that I don't get to see; they just get buried.
Yeah.
And it's every so often I just go in and I open it and then I see it.
Did we win the lottery?
And then if it's like, yes, if it's something that I think like, oh wow, okay, and let's say for example, if they just kind of send me a message, say, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? I may just scroll right through it because they haven't introduced themselves, and it was just like, I'm one of those people like, say hello first.
Yeah.
Greet. I always greet people like when I'm messaging them, when I see them.
Right.
It's like if your first question is just like, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast?"
Yeah, no.
Next, you know what I mean? And so sometimes randomly I click, and then and sometimes I answer them back. Not even a podcast. One guy was like some country in Asia and was like, "Oh man, we would love to have you here, visit us." Da, 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 da. I was like, I don't really travel to Asia. I haven't, but I was like, it'd be cool to do a camp or something. I said, and they were like, yeah. This is our schedule. What would it take? And I'm like, you just have to pay for my accommodations, and this is, we can work something out for you to do however many day camps. And then the guy replied back and was like, "Well, I barely make money here. I mean, we couldn't really fly you in." I'm like,
huh? I'm supposed to fly myself.
He was like, I meant. Yeah, he was like, I meant if you were just, cruising by. I'm like, I'm not cruising by anywhere. Like, I don't just go by. Like,
by Asia.
Let me stop in.
The largest continent.
Yeah. I get that with like, and I never want to be disrespectful. And I've been
of course not.
Like with people that'll ask to be on the podcast, and we've had a lot of discussions about this. It's just like, what's the barometer for? Okay, they're a good guest, and we've tried to say, we've always been like, it's a good story. It's not followers. It's not how famous you are. It's like, we want the good story. Some of our best podcasts have been just the ones with roundtables, without even like the most famous of famous people. The ones that have gotten the most have just been the ones that were just like, I think this is the best way to say it. The best comments we get are, that's how me and my boys talk after jiu-jitsu. I feel like I'm sitting there with you talking with my buddies after a class. And that's, I think, what hooked people in the beginning, because it was like 5 of us in the beginning. COVID kind of changed things. People moved away. Things changed. So we evolved, and then we did the Zooms, and we've kind of stuck with this model for now. But we always invite people in. So if you're in Florida, come on in,
Yeah.
But I think that's, when somebody asks me to come on, I've wanted to be like, okay, what's your favorite episode? Like, do you listen, or are you just on like a media tour for yourself?
Right.
Like, what's your favorite? I haven't done that. I want to be. What's your favorite episode? What stands out? Why? Tell me why you want to be on the podcast. And it's usually, I don't ask that yet, but sometimes they've been, hey, I'm doing this thing and I've got this new event that we're launching. I'm like, yeah, we're probably not like the right platform to do that, and you're not the right, like, get it off the ground. I get what you're trying to do media, but maybe like our podcast isn't the best. Maybe go out with some of the guys that are a little bit newer and that are willing to like get your feet wet, get some exposure. I get it.
That's not what we're doing.
We can't have everybody. It's, for a month. We can't have every single person. But I do, every once in a while, something stands out. And it's funny because almost every podcast, somebody will mention somebody or talk about somebody. It's be like, oh, we should invite that person on. And or they'll suggest somebody, or they talked about somebody a few times and we'll be like, we should let me reach out to that guy. And we've done it for anybody that's out there trying. How do you get your guests and how do you get your sponsors? All through Instagram. Hey, we've got this show. We'd love to, would you like to sponsor? Would you like to be on the show? Would you like to sponsor the show? Every single other than when we worked with Manscaped for a little while, everything else is everyone. We've reached out to everybody, and it's people. We were lucky enough that people said yes, they liked what we were doing, and we've got a really cool, good core group of sponsors that stay with us.
It's black belt standards. You guys set high standards, and you do quality work, and people are going to follow.
I named
there's
my
no secret to it.
I named my company Black Belt Digital Marketing. So I tell people
there you go. Hey.
I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but I'm a black belt at marketing, and I've gone with that. I can go with that for a little longer till I get my black belt, and then I'm a black belt at both of them. So you want to hit them with the last question?
You're just a black belt. Yeah.
Right, this is pretty important.
This is a big one.
Yeah. Do you or do you not wash your jiu-jitsu belt?
Another one of those. I don't, but I do. So I don't wash it a lot, but I do wash it.
Okay.
I throw it in there.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
You get a
ding, ding, ding.
It's
You're a belt washer.
That's good. Team wash your belt. We get all kinds of answers, and we get all kinds of
those.
I would say pushback, but fellow belt washer, I just think it needs to be washed. It's a piece of clothing,
Yeah. Yeah.
You're still washing your belt?
I just stick it in the washer.
It's funny. Like,
Not only do I wash it,
it started as a joke
douse
for
it.
us.
I'm technically a one-stripe blue belt. I don't like to brag about that kind of stuff, but it just washes off.
That one stripe is important.
Yeah, but it washes
that one
off.
Stripe is like a little kid saying, "I'm 5.5 years old."
That's right. It's 5 1/4 because it's what you get 4, right?
To his credit, though, just so because I know he won't say it. He moved. He had to move around a little bit. He moved out of our town, so he's had to move gyms a few times.
Had to start over.
So it's kind of starting. He's easily a purple belt. No,
I wouldn't say that.
He's no stripe. He's a no stripe purple belt. He's at least a no stripe purple belt.
I don't want to hear that.
He's trained at Wagner's. I mean, he's no slouch.
That means nothing.
Yes,
that
means a lot.
You could be lazy there.
He's being.
I'm a 4-stripe no belt.
Yeah, you are.
Well, and listen again, Kenny. Look, don't hang up when we're done. We're gonna come take some pictures by the TV if you don't mind. So for postings and stuff like that. But do you want to give anybody a shout out? Give them your rundown of your IGs and let them know if you want to shout out any sponsors. This is your time.
Yeah. So everybody can follow me or see more stories. Like my personal account is Kenny Kim BJJ, and then on Matt Made, you guys can go to mattmade_show. But if you go to my account, you'll be able to just click on the bio and you'll see all the information there. And everything is pretty much there. Our YouTube channels, all the links are in my bio, so check it out. YouTube,
and we're gonna put them on screen too during the show.
Yeah. What else do we have? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. And I just want to thank the listeners, the viewers. Eventually I want you guys to come and once we get our episodes out, come check out the Matt Made podcast. Check out our episodes on our YouTube channel before they go onto the network. Full episodes, and we've got our vlogs coming up. That's going to be exciting. So again, we're just here to empower the community, guys. So let's do our part and share, and this art that we love. I just want to spread it. That's all.
Right, man.
That's beautiful.
All right, again, hang on one second, but thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Hang out.
Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at TheBJJBox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Is this drone bird?
Yeah. All right. Very cool. So wait. So we'll tell the viewers. So okay, we just interviewed Kenny Kim.
Yeah.
We do normally break for a few minutes.
Have a cigarette.
You have a cigarette.
Yeah.
We went out on the balcony of the studio apartment here, and the studio and the apartment.
20 stories up. 20 stories up. Okay.
A bird flies into the apartment.
Into the apartment.
And it gets in the studio. So check out our IG because we'll probably post that video.
Yeah.
But
and we just caught it and got it back out. It was safely
no
removed.
birds were harmed
in
the making of this podcast.
So we're just coming back in after that whole thing, which was kind of funny.
He was a fan.
Yeah.
He wanted to be part of the show.
He wanted some pictures. He got him.
He got it in.
He's on camera.
If you want to be on the podcast, you got to.
He had his 7 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
So thank you to Professor Kenny Kim for doing the podcast.
That was awesome.
Kenny Kim from Matt Made.
Look out for that.
Love his content. We're going to be doing the gi giveaway. You got to remind me. I got to reach out.
Matt Made stuff before it gets on the subscription.
Awesome content. He's doing things way different than anybody's done it before, and I wish him all the best. And
cool dude. He sounds
hope that
super busy, man.
Yeah, man. I was glad that he said, he's like, I'm in South Florida all the time. I'm like, all right, let's
He kind of said
come on in.
That we got lucky we got a hold of him. The way he was saying, like, through Instagram like that.
You know, I actually reached out to him the way that
Instagram
he kind of said.
roulette.
No, like I said.
No, you were polite. Hello, hi, yeah.
Hey, hello. Love your content. Been following you for a while now. You know, love the Matt Made stuff.
Yeah.
And hey, you know, we'd really love to have you on the podcast.
We don't know how big the chance is, but there's could have been a chance that you could have just gotten buried by.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
By like a popular post, you know. And
absolutely.
I think it would have eventually happened, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't just give up with one post or one comment. I do know that,
like jiu-jitsu, you figure it out. You know what I mean?
A lot of people that are, you know, he's got a lot of followers. He's going to get a lot of messages. It's just plain math.
And sometimes they're crazy. I'm sure, like at that level, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're getting the right off the bat. You're getting the every
shock
Pakistani clothing apparel company hitting you up.
I'm getting those now.
Yeah, you're gonna get them no matter what.
Yeah,
the more people that follow you, the more you can get. So you're getting those right off the bat.
Yeah.
So you're getting those, and then you're getting fan comments and questions, and people tagging you because they want you to reshare their stuff.
Right.
And which I keep on doing it. I don't mind it. I'm just saying, but. You know,
that helps.
We're from 8,000 followers on Instagram to 170, I think. Yeah, like there's a big jump in the amount. I could, you know, but I get stuff every single day. I can't answer it. I try to answer everything or like it, or, you know, I try to watch every video.
It's unmaintained. You can't maintain that.
Yeah, it gets difficult. It gets difficult to the point where
a team.
You need a team, dude.
Yeah, like you said, the guy I made, you know, the guy that's doing our reels, he just does them and sends them to me.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that cuts the stuff from the show, his name is Ivan.
We got a squad, you know what I mean?
I'm going, you know, he would also, you know, post them for me. He would do the posting of things that he creates, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. It's still like a relatively new relationship, so got to get more comfortable before I let somebody. I've never let anybody into the control the IG.
That's inner circle.
Yeah, that's like giving them the, you know, and it's an important part of the podcast. So anyway, so
put your hand in my pocket.
You could check us out on Instagram at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, actually everywhere. At Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on TikTok and YouTube. The handles are Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Podcast. And click the link tree on Instagram, and you can see all the ways you can watch, listen, even support. I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram. That's my personal.
Yep. I'm JJD_DJJ69.
And Bo with his new...
With my new teeth,
Choppers.
I can speak differently now. I don't sound like I don't have teeth.
Now it's
that's a new sound.
At BADWERKS.
That works.
You look funny. You look like you have. I told you before. You look like you have like a mouthpiece and like a thin.
I look like Tony Robbins, man. I look like Tony. That's fucking horse teeth.
You look good, man. It's weird. You got to get. I'm used to it now after the whole podcast, but it's weird. It's like now I'm almost. We'll start to forget what you look like without anything.
Bro, that's 9/11.
Well, this is what's nice about dentures. This is what's nice about dentures. I can always pop them out and remind you.
Yeah, that's true. When do you get the permanents?
Implant surgery goes in March, and then the final teeth in like July.
Okay,
bam.
And then
all right,
they're
stay
not
tuned.
removable anymore.
It's gonna be.
I saw some floss in the bathroom.
Hot boy.
Those have space. Did you have to?
No,
floss?
that's Listerine. Those are Listerine strips.
Oh, I thought I saw a little thing of.
I
thought it was okay.
Listerine.
I thought it was
looks like floss.
Can you get in between those or
no?
No.
One solid.
You put those in the dishwasher, bro.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
This is like a mouth guard, but for your gums.
Those aren't the permanents.
These protect my gums.
You guys are crazy. All right, thank you for watching and listening, everyone. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu.
Bye, guys.
You know, some people like us is like a newer thing. Like it's like people don't.
It's not traditional.
People didn't say it. The old school guys didn't say it.
I say it only sarcastically.
Do you?
Yeah.
I say us to.
I've never.
Like
I've
you know
never
when Felipe has the kids say. Like they say yes sir. I use us is like my yes sir.
I do that. But
you know, like okay, everybody got that. Us.
This is the new.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. You know.
This is the new format for the ending.
I don't know. Talking about stupid stuff.
That's going to be.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
All right.
Peace out.
Bye.